It's precisely 1:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Sabrina Zawahir. First, the headlines. Measures to develop the Eastern Jetty under 100% of the Ports Authority administration. A presidential commission to remove legal obstruction for investors. The Sports Minister plans to implement recommendations of the COPE Committee on Cricket Institute. His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit says he expects to see the fulfillment of justice for his people. Chairman of the Election Commission says the Provincial Council election should be held. The COVID vaccination program is being carried out successfully. And in world news, Democrats say Trump left those at Capitol for dead. Now the local news in detail. Minister Rohit Abegunawardena says that the Eastern Jetty of the Ports Authority will be developed under 100% administration of the authority. He made this remark answering to a question made by the parliamentarian Heshavithana in Parliament today. He said the government policy is not to sell or lease and to bring investors. State Minister Ajit Niwad Cabral said that the President has appointed a commission to remove legal obstruction for investors. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said that regulatory projects was commenced to bring tourists to Sri Lanka. Therefore, more tourists visited to the island than Maldives. Sports Minister Namal Rajapaksa said that a regulatory will be carried out for sports coaches. As the Minister of Sports, he will take action to implement recommendations of the COPE Committee on Sri Lanka Cricket Institute. His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit says that he is ready to go international if the justice will not be fulfilled for his people. He made this remark at a media briefing held at His Eminence residence in Colombo. He said although he has requested a copy of the report of Presidential Investigation Commission on Easter Sunday attack, but it is not received yet. He reiterated that there are two parties to be punished over the attack. Chairman of the Election Commission, Attorney at Law Nimalji Punchiheva says it is possible to hold provincial council elections within 2 months after amending the constitution. He added that it was the stand of the Elections Commission that the provincial council elections should be held. The chairman said thereby the request of the Election Commission is to appoint public representatives for the provincial councils. He said that the relevant laws should be amended as they have identified several shortcomings in holding free and fair elections. He also added that a methodology is currently being discussed to formulate a control over election expenses. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank introduces the Parinatha Vishrama loan scheme to honour and empower pensioners.
Continuing local news. Chairman of the State Pharmaceutical Corporation Specialist Dr. Prasanna Gunasena says that the government's vaccination program to prevent the Corona-19 is being carried out successfully. He said it is essential to be prevented from the infection of the virus until providing the vaccination to the general public systematically. Participating in the Subharati program of the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, he said the number of COVID death toll is increasing due to the negligence of the public. The Yan Oya Valley has been named as an agrarian zone without toxic. This decision has been taken by the governor of the Eastern Province, Anuradha Yahampath, on the proposal made by the Commissioner of the Agrarian Service in Trincomalee, Varuni Sarvanandan. The lands have been provided for the farmers who lost their lands due to the implementation of Yan Oya project. It is completely banned to use chemical fertilizer for agricultural activities in the 500 acres of land that belongs to Yan Oya Valley. A suspect has been arrested in connection with the gunfire attack on Police Narcotics Bureau officials in 2017. The police spokesperson, DIG Ajit Rohana, said he was taken into custody in India over a narcotics-related offence. The suspect, identified as Mohammed Mahir Mohammed Nawaz, is currently detained in the area of Madhur by India's Narcotics Control Bureau. The suspect, accused of providing information to criminals, will be brought to Sri Lanka under the extradition laws, the police spokesperson explained further. With that, we end the local news. The main news story follows.
People's Bank introduces the Parinatha Vishrama loan scheme to honour and empower pensioners.
අපේම දරුවෝ වගේ අපට සැලකිල්ල.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Education Minister Professor G.L. Piri says that all resources of the Education Ministry will be given to all schools in the island without any differences. He made this remark when he met the Bishop of Jaffna, Justin Nandpragasam, recently. The minister further said that the problems to be solved in North and East have been identified. Special attention has been focused on education, agriculture and fisheries sectors. That came to you in our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
In Watchlight, the archaeological building at the Mahakappita Mudali Dharma Vihara in Valitara Balapitiya is in risk of collapse. It has been reported that this building is an old construction and more than 148 years. The building was constructed under Dutch architecture techniques. The chief incumbent of the Vihara requested the relevant authorities to renovate this historical building soon. This is for the attention of Director General of Archaeology. That came to you in Watchlight. A bulletin of world news follows.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
The headlines of the world news. Democrats say Trump left those at Capitol for dead. US announces sanctions on leaders of Myanmar coup. The US president conveys US concerns to Chinese president in a phone call. Now the world news in detail. Senators at Donald Trump's second impeachment trial have been shown new Democrats and graphic video of an attack by his supporters at the US Capitol. Using Mr. Trump's own words and tweets against him, Democrats prosecuting the case argued he had acted as inciter-in-chief on the day and beforehand. In at times emotional testimony, impeachment managers methodically discussed together the violence. Unreleased security footage also showed how close rioters came to U.S. lawmakers. U.S. President Joe Biden has approved an executive order to impose sanctions on the leaders of Myanmar coup. The measures will be focused on military leaders, their family members and business linked to them. Steps are also being taken to block access by the military to $1 billion of government funds held in the U.S. The sanctions come as a woman who was shot in the head during protests against the coup fights for her life at a hospital in the capital of Naypyidaw. U.S. President Joe Biden has held his first direct talks on the phone with Chinese President Xi Jinping since taking office last month. The White House announced that the two leaders had a telephone conversation yesterday. The White House added that Biden underscored his fundamental concerns about Beijing's coercive and unfair economic practices, crackdown in Hong Kong, human rights abuses in Shanghai, and increasingly assertive actions in the region, including toward Taiwan. That ends World News, and prior to concluding the World News, the headlines once again. Democrats say Trump left those at Capitol for dead. U.S. announces sanctions on leaders of Myanmar coup. The U.S. president conveys U.S. concerns to Chinese president in a phone call. With that, we conclude the world news. The development news follows.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In development news, Highways Minister Johnston Fernandes said construction work of the Wayamba-Ella project providing a solution to the water shortage problems that occur during the Yala and Maha seasons in the Wayamba province has been accelerated. Under this project, there will be 90 kilometers of new and upgraded canals, including 2 underground tunnels and 2 new earth gravity dams, together with the construction of the Maha Kitula and Maha Kirula reservoirs. That ends development news. Next up is the sports news. Taking a look at the sports news, first day of the second test match between West Indies and Bangladesh is being played in Dhaka. Batting first, West Indies scored 104 runs for 3 wickets. The 99th National Athletic Championship has been rescheduled for May 20th to 23rd at the Sugadadasa Stadium in Colombo. Sri Lanka Athletics announced the new dates for the Nationals following the cancellation of the 24th Asian Athletics Championship 2021. That was sports news. Next up is the business news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
A 200-acre plot of land at Punakuda in the Chinkaladi region was surveyed and handed over to the Board of Investment of Sri Lanka for the construction of Textile Industrial Park. The formalities took place at the Batticaloa District Secretariat recently in the presence of State Minister Sathasivam Vilayandharan. That ends business news.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down. Everything is sorted. Why? I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
The Lanka Sugar Company has earned an income of 1,300 million rupees during the period of last year. This is the highest profit they received in 25 years of history of the company. In addition, the company has given bonus and incentives allowances for the workers during last April. The sugar cane cultivations were carried out in new 3,000 hectares of lands in Sevanagala and Palavatta areas. That ends economic news.
Congratulations on your promotion. Heard you gave a treat for everyone in your department yesterday.
Yeah.
It will be our treat, huh?
Well, how about today?
Oh no, I was just joking. We'll have a party with your new salary.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Finally, it's a look at the weather report. The Met Department says mainly fair weather will prevail over most parts of the island. Misty conditions can be expected in central, Sabaragamuwa and Uva provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts during the morning. That was the weather report. Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. Measures to develop the Eastern Jetty under 100% of the Ports Authority administration. A presidential commission to remove legal obstruction for investors. The Sports Minister plans to implement recommendations of the COPE Committee on Cricket Institute. His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit says he expects to see the fulfillment of justice for his people. Chairman of the Election Commission says the Provincial Council election should be held. The COVID vaccination program is being carried out successfully. With that, we conclude the news.